Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of the God whose mercy is profound, whose kindness is forever. These presentations are on the life of Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's mercy be on him, and they are based on the book authored by the late Mr. Khalid Masood in Urdu. It is difficult to talk about the life of the Prophet, may Allah's mercy be on him, without giving a reference of his ancestor Ibrahim Alaihissalam, the biblical Abraham. Abraham was born and brought up in his initial life in Iraq, Babylon, where it is said his ancestors had migrated from the Arab lands because of the fertile soil. Ibrahim alayhis salam was the son of Azar, who was involved in the making as well as worshipping of idols. It is said that he was an important member of the place of worship where the idols were actually worshipped. His son Abraham was never interested in idol worship. He was all along a believer in one God. He tried to convince the king of his times, but he was adamant. He tried to talk to his father so as to let him know the right point of view, but he too did not change his point of view. Likewise, most people of his society were not willing to understand the right point of view of the unity of God, which was presented by Ibrahim alayhis salam. It is said that it was only his wife Sarah and his nephew Lut alayhis salam who believed in the presentation of Tawheed and the message of the Almighty that Ibrahim alayhis salam received. When he did his best to convince the people in his surroundings and did not receive a favorable response from them, he decided to migrate, and he migrated to Canaan, which is the present time the place where Israel is located. It was a fertile place. He started doing the business of shepherds, raising them, raising the cattle, and that effort bore fruits, and he became rich very soon. The place where he lived was surrounded by states which were ruled by the Arabs, and one of the Arabs who was living close to him, the ruler, he offered his daughter to be married to Ibrahim alayhis salam, because that was the way the Arabs used to conduct their affairs in order to bring close people whom they loved and wanted to establish relationship with. They would at times offer the hand of their daughters to bring them closer to themselves. And this is what happened. And Ibrahim alayhis salam thus got married to Hajara alayhis salam, Hagar, as a result of the effort, the offer made by Abu Malik, who belonged to Banu Jurham, which was an Arab tribe. The Jews do not accept this part of the history, and they present another point of view which is based on their own biased understanding against Ismail alayhis salam, wherein they believe that Hagar was a slave girl of Sarah alayhis salam, and therefore, according to them, the child that she gave birth to was not quite as worthy of respect as the other child, which was Isaac, Ishaq alayhis salam. Nonetheless, Ibrahim alayhis salam, all along his early life, displayed a behavior of impeccable character. He was very staunchly attached to the oneness of God. He was a man of such character that people who got into contact with him were greatly influenced by him. It was because of the many sacrifices which Ibrahim Alaihissalam made for the cause of God Almighty and His message, not the least of which was the fact that he left his land of origin and migrated after traveling a very long distance to another place. It was because of the sacrifice that Ibrahim Alaihissalam made that the Almighty actually chose him to be his very special prophet, who would be responsible for being the elder of a race, of a family that would ultimately be made responsible for disseminating the message of the Almighty to the rest of the mankind for all times to come in this world. It was not an ordinary decision that the Almighty took, but the decision was taken on the basis of merit, on the basis of the kind of character, the kind of perseverance, kinds of honest pursuit of the objectives that the Almighty had set forth for him to go for, that Ibrahim Alaihissalam was able to achieve, that enabled him to get the title of Imamun Nas, the leader of mankind. He indeed was the leader of mankind in that all the prophets after him belonged only to his progeny and no one else. Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's mercy be on him, was also one of those prophets who came from within the progeny of Ibrahim Alaihissalam. Like indeed all prophets of the children of Israel, the Jews belong to the family of Ibrahim Alaihissalam. So, without mentioning the history of Ibrahim Alaihissalam, we cannot mention the lifestyle, the lifetime and the works of any of the prophets who came after him. It is therefore that it was felt pertinent to mention Ibrahim and some of the important achievements of his life before we talk about Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's mercy be on him. May the Almighty enable us to understand the message that God sent for us to follow, and may He enable us to understand the performance, the character and the right conduct that was left by all the great prophets of the Almighty, the last of whom was Prophet Muhammad, may Allah's mercy be on him.